All right, happy Saturday and welcome to People Are Stupid. I decided I'm going to start a new series just for fun. And what it's going to be, finding some funny stories of really stupid people and relaying them to you. Give you a laugh, you know. We do so much serious stuff. Of course I do crazy stuff too, but you know, there's so much serious stuff that we have to deal with in our lives. You know, it's good to have a laugh once in a while. And you know, dealing with the things that I've dealt with this week has reminded me that there are a lot of stupid people out there. And there are some people who are maybe even worse than them. I know that would be hard to believe. But yeah, there's a lot of stupid people out there. There's an abundance of stupid people out there. So, let's get into it, shall we? Got some kind of funny stories for you. Hope you enjoy them. All right, first one says one night during high school, my friend and I got invited to a party. I didn't drive back then, so my friend picked me up. All went well on our way to the party. On the way back, however, he got pulled over. As we were pulling to the side of the road, I told him that I was going to pretend to be sleeping since I was the passenger. Anyway, I hear the cop get out of his cop car, walk towards our car, stops at the window, but doesn't say anything. I can feel the brightness of his flashlight, but I don't hear him or my friends say anything. After about what seemed like an eternity, I decide to open my eyes to see what's going on. That's when I see my friend, the guy who was driving, is pretending like he is sleeping also. You know, and as a former cop, I can just imagine walking up and seeing two dudes asleep in the car like, yeah, I'd automatically assume the guy was drunk. You know, he'd be doing sobriety tests in a hurry. Next story says, my coworker was anti-windmills. When I asked why she was anti-windmills, she said, there are way too many popping up and we're going to use up all of the wind. Says I was speechless. I'm never speechless. Yes, folks, there are people out there that's stupid, and I have run into a few of them from time to time. Next one, the girl says, my brother and I were in the kitchen one day as teenagers. My brother was filling the sink to wash dishes. When the sink was nearly full, he went to turn the tap off, but it wouldn't budge, so the water kept flowing. I tried turning it too, but with no success. This is when panic set in. The level of the water was rising fast, and we didn't want to flood the kitchen. We took big saucepans out of the press to fill with water to keep things from overflowing, while I was in a frantic scramble under the sink trying to find the mains to turn it off there. I couldn't find it. Now really panicking, I took over the pot filling duty, and my brother went running off to look for Dad as quick as he could. Dad came running in with my brother while we were shouting at him about looking for the mains. Dad just came over to the sink and pulled the plug out of the hole, letting all the water down the drain. Here's your sign. Okay. I think they're funny. I hope you do too. And I already read them once, obviously. This one guy says, I had a manager named Roxanne, nicknamed Rocky. She was a bleach blonde, literally bleached her hair once a month and then wondered why it broke and fell out. She was a bubblehead who only had the job because Daddy owned the restaurant. Rocky was really obsessed with her looks and not much else. One day she told me and a coworker that she had her nose job done so that her eventual children wouldn't grow up with the same nose as her. She wasn't kidding. The coworker and I just looked at each other and walked away. We knew it wasn't worth the effort. This guy says, I can sum it up very easily. We were at the shooting range. His gun jammed. He looked down the barrel to see what was wrong. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer, that's for sure. So the person says, back in my younger and crankier days, I worked with a young woman who was hands down the dumbest person I've ever met. Her highlights include winning a basket auction that included a copy of the Beach Boys album Pet Sounds and complaining because she didn't want to hear a lot of mooing. Well, who does? Oops. I just went past my point here. On a day she was driving me up a wall, I convinced her to wait to open her bottle of Coke because the bottle said there was a winner every 5 minutes. She was disappointed she didn't win after waiting exactly 5 minutes. I, however, enjoyed her sulky silence for the rest of the day. Oh, man. The best/worst one involved her chatting with a manager who was African American. She's white. They were discussing their shared, slightly uncommon name and then realized their families both came from South Carolina. She thought for a few minutes and then excitedly claimed, I bet my family owned yours. Yeah. She was so proud of herself for figuring out that historic connection. The manager didn't say a word and just walked away. Oh, man. I'd be embarrassed for her. I'd be embarrassed for her. I think I'd be walking away too, like, I don't know this girl. All right, next person says, we shall call him Chad. Chad was a guy I worked with years ago, and he was terrible with directions. He had no idea where he was or where he was going, and was terrible at identifying landmarks. So we are working less than 5 minutes from our store on this particular day, in a small residential area about 1.5 miles down the road. Including the turn out of the driveway, you have to make 3 turns, all right-hand turns, and cross one intersection, and you'll be at our store. A short time into what is an all-day job, we realize we have some equipment at the store that would help us out tremendously. I asked Chad to go get it. He doesn't know the way. I explain it to him. He stares at me. Don't you just love it when you say something as plain as day as plain as day, and people just give you that deer in the headlights look? He stares at me. It's 3 right-hand turns, Chad. I think you can do it. Chad wants a map. Fine. I draw a map. Chad leaves. 25 minutes go by. Chad should have been back by now. I call the store and I'm told that Chad left 10 minutes ago. As I am on the phone, I hear the truck coming and he drives right by the house. Well, crap. Poor Chad forgot what house we were at. No big deal. The road is a giant circle and he will come around again in a moment. So I walk up the driveway and sure enough, here he comes again. I wave and he pulls in the driveway. As he gets out, I laugh and say, "Ha ha ha, man, you forgot what house we were at." Chad deadpans. "Nah, man, you moved the truck." Chad was looking for the company truck in the driveway. The very same truck he was driving. Yeah, okay. Here's a person talking about one of his roommates. He says, I live in a house where we give interviews to prospective new roommates to make sure they're cool. We were interviewing a deaf guy, and he was looking like a good fit. We also have a list of rules and guidelines for living in the house, and one of the current roommates asks, "Oh man, are we going to have to get the rules printed in Braille?" For a deaf guy. He says, far from an isolated incident. That must have been an interesting place. All right, next one, it says, I am sure if I thought real hard, I could come up with someone more stupid. But this story is pretty good. There was this receptionist at the veterinary office we had taken our dogs to over the years who argued with my dad about how to pronounce his own name. He went in to pick up some prescription, something for our dog Daisy, and this girl asked the typical name of dog, name of owner type questions. He answers her. She says, "We have it listed as Michelle, and you don't look like a Michelle." Dad asked how it was spelled on the monitor, and sure enough, it was spelled Michael, Michael, Dad's name. He said, "That says Michael. That's my name." And she argued with him about it. He had to get his driver's license out to show her, and even though she finally relented to let him pick up whatever it was he was down there to pick up, she was adamant my dad had been mispronouncing his name for 50 plus years. The best part is Dad tells us the whole story and we think nothing of it, till like 3 months later when Mom took the dog in for a checkup. The girl still thought the owner of the dog was Michelle and that my mom must be in a lesbian relationship. Mom gently corrected the lady that it was Michael, and again, this girl was adamant it was pronounced Michelle. Mom, bemused, said something along the lines of, "It's literally a name from the Bible. It's pronounced Michael and has been pronounced Michael for thousands of years." The receptionist sat in silence outside of the minimal amount of talking needed for the rest of the visit. Oh, my. Yeah, People are stupid. Next one. This girl I used to work with before she got fired. One day she came to work with a broken arm and claimed her boyfriend pushed her during a fight and she fell. We were all super concerned for her until she came in a week later saying she stabbed her boyfriend in the hand during a fight to get back at him for breaking her arm. Okay. Then a few weeks later, she told everyone she was secretly trying to get pregnant because if she got pregnant, her unemployed boyfriend would have to get a job and help pay rent. She got pregnant, and her boyfriend immediately dumped her. Yeah, you're living with a loser. He's going to continue to be a loser. He's not going to take responsibility, that's for sure. Next one says, science class, 7th grade. The power went out, and we were waiting for the buses to get ready to take us home. I said something to the guy next to me akin to a transformer probably blew. He says, I kid you not, the guy sitting across from me looked me straight in the eyes and said this, Transformers aren't real. Yeah, like I was the dumb one. Transformers, robots in disguise. I know the theme song to it, but I've never even watched it. That was way after my time. All right, next one. Says, I have a friend named Rachel. Now, this one night in high school, we all got the munchies and decided to go get ourselves some late night Sonic. We piled into Rachel's car, even though we've heard stories about her bad driving, but that's another story. Anyway, she asked us how to get the Sonic, and we proceed to give her directions, turn for turn, until we finally pull in the Sonic parking lot. Upon our arrival, she smirks and says, Oh, I work here. Instances like that make me glad I never have kids. This guy says, can crystals heal you? He says, my anti-stress crystal is very effective. I just pick it up and throw it at the person causing me stress, and it all just goes away. All right, this is the last one. I won't torture you any longer after this. Guy talking about his old roommate. Says he put an electric kettle made of plastic on the stove. I came upstairs to black smoke as it melted. I threw it in the trash and yelled at him for nearly burning the house down. It has a cord sticking out of it and everything. He says an hour later, I came back upstairs to the same thing. He went through the trash, got it out of the trash, and put it back on the stove. I get the first time if he's never seen an electric kettle before, but a second time, with the same kettle, a melted kettle, he says, and the worst thing is the guy doesn't even do drugs. Oh, yeah. Anyway, let me know if you like this. I enjoy reading these. I enjoy looking them up, and I enjoy sharing them. Yes, I do. Sharing is caring, or caring is sharing, or one of those two. Anyway, let me know if you liked it, and if you want me to keep doing it. If not, I won't mess with it. You know what I mean? Alrighty. I've got to do something. I don't remember what it was. But I don't know. I'll ask Copper. He might remember.